seen former presidents fly out of Washington to their next homes. In this case, they're off to vacation in Palm Springs, and it will be a round trip. They will return to Washington, D.C. to begin their life post-White House.
That's since Reagan and Jimmy Carter. Well, we have actually two presidents living in Washington, D.C. At the same time the Carters stayed to make sure Amy Carter got through the school year, sort of the similar reason why the Obamas are staying.
And there are the Bidens to wish their goodbyes as well. This is a symbolic moment. We've seen the official moment, but this is certainly a symbolic moment of the continuation of the transfer of power. Let's listen a bit.
The Bidens get on the train. They have the best commute in Washington for a power couple. They get on Amtrak and ride it to the second stop, I guess, Baltimore and then Wilmington. Joe has been doing that throughout his Senate career and also his vice presidential time.
Hugs and kisses all around, and we certainly know that the Obamas and the Bidens have become lifelong friends. There is a very, very close bond there, and we saw that with the Medal of Freedom with distinction that was awarded by the president, the former president to former vice president. I'll get this right. This is like when you get the new year, you keep writing the letter.
Still writing the same check.
Yeah. I'm going through that process now, so forgive me. But it appears that the Bidens will be departing first in a motorcade.
He's going to be setting up shop a couple places, University of Delaware and Penn. Essentially at Penn will be sort of where he'll pursue some interest in international affairs, and University of Delaware some domestic.
And a lot of Democrats will continue to look at him and wonder what if.
Or what could be. I don't think Joe Biden is done. You know, there was a time where people thought that if you're in your 70s, you're not going to be, it's going to be tough to run for president anymore. Donald Trump got elected at 70.
And the oldest to be...
But Joe's older than 70.
He is. He'd be 78 in 2020. Donald Trump would be 74. I have to say, I didn't think we would have 3 straight baby boomer presidents. Or, let alone, I guess, technically 4. Although I don't count Obama fully baby boomer.
As someone who's the same age as Joe, I got to tell you, there's a difference between 70 and 78.
Tom, I think there's going to be a lot of run, Tom, runs for you there. So you never know there, buddy.
Also, the Democratic Party is going to have to raise a new generation. The fact is that what they've got to do is find the next generation of leadership in the Democratic Party, even with new ideas. And the same way Bill Clinton came up, and Joe Biden, in fact, was part of that reinvention of the Democratic Party. That's the case before the Democratic Party.
They have some energy. Kamala Harris, the senator from California, Chris Murphy, the senator from Connecticut. They have some very good, talented young people, but they don't have the talent of that couple. President and Mrs. Obama are uniquely gifted, and so there's always going to be a gap between what follows them.
And President Obama just kind of seems to be taking it all in as he prepares, seeing the former First Lady prepare to depart the Capitol by helicopter. They'll be going the short distance to Andrews, Joint Base Andrews, to board a VIP Air Force jet. It will not be known as Air Force One, but an Air Force jet nonetheless, to take them to California for vacation.
And he's likely to make some remarks there. To staffers, former staffers. Okay.
There has to be a lot of emotions, certainly a lot of nostalgia. It couldn't have been easy at times to hear some of the things said in that speech. But the former president has taken the high road, certainly in this transition.
Here's a lead paragraph in the Wall Street Journal today. After 8 years in office, Barack Obama has a market record any red-blooded American capitalist could be proud of. U.S. shares have soared, oil prices have come down, borrowing is cheap, profits are up along with the dollar. Even those who bet against President Obama made good money with returns in their investment. Now, that's the investment group. But along with that came jobs. We know that there has been a recovery. It's imperfect. It's got holes in it. But the fact is, it's not nearly as grim as the speech that we heard here today.
He was speaking to the Peggy Noonan Unprotected today.
And let's take in this moment as the former president saluting crew members. And the last time that we expect he will board that helicopter and make that wave. Chris Jansing is out there on that east front of the Capitol. What have you been able to observe there, Chris?
this is an emotional time, obviously, for the millions of people who love the Obamas, supported the Obamas. They now begin their post-presidential life. And it's described, this moment, in a handbook for the inauguration that dates back to 1889, which says, the president leaves the Capitol as fast as is practicable after the inauguration of his successor. What it doesn't describe is what this means to the country, this moment, this day that is all about Donald J. Trump. This moment is about two people who have served their country for 8 years, getting on that helicopter, as you say, for the last time, and going off on a new life at a very young age, 55 for the president, 53 for the First Lady. They will go to the former Air Force One, now called Executive One. I want to just point out that something happened here that was a tradition the Obamas started. It used to be that the goodbyes were set up on the steps, but as a sign of respect, 8 years ago, President Obama walked to the helicopter with the Bushes and not just said goodbye there, but as was noted at the time, he actually hugged George W. Bush. After what had been a long and difficult campaign, he had really made a statement that he appreciated the way that the transition was handled, just as Donald Trump has said that. So perhaps we have seen a new kind of farewell as we see President and Vice President wave, that they will escort them to the helicopter as they make their way to their new life, Lester.
I spoke to President Obama a little over a week ago, who said to me that he thinks the country's in a better place than when he took over. And certainly by many measures, he inherited a country with a brink of a financial disaster, shedding jobs. But he certainly has been open to critics of his foreign policy and some of the executive actions he's taken.
Ironically, toward the end, the progress that the American military has made against ISIS, particularly in Iraq, has been very impressive. By the way, even at the end here, so what he got hit for early, you might see that strategy that President Trump keeps it in place because it seems to be working.
But I direct you to the speech, though. He said, we will eradicate radical Islamic extremism from the face of the earth. That's a pretty bold.
That was the most memorable declarative moment in the speech, is that, and it's a big reach too.
From the face of the earth.
Yes.
Especially when you're talking about an ideology. But nonetheless, he said it, and he's made some. And, when I did a tour this past week, talking to people around the country, both for and against Mr. Trump, President Trump, they want him to move quickly. They believe in his promises and they want to see it. And people gave various times, but as to when they wanted to see it. And there's the picture, the Obamas leaving official Washington behind.
Wait for the memoirs.
We're actually watching it right over our window. It's coming.
They're coming right to us.
Coming right over our studio here.
We'll find out in the memoirs what they're saying to each other and what they're thinking as they. They actually have a nice little shot. They take the president around so he gets to see
what they're saying. Look, there's Lester Holt right
You think? No. There's got to be a mixture of relief and I suppose some regret. He talks about some of the regrets in office. He wishes that he had done more to organize the grassroots. When talking about the Democratic loss, the loss of Hillary Clinton, he told me he was surprised that his popularity on the campaign trail did not translate to her. So there's some regret about that. And as he said, for every president, there's always going to be something that you didn't get to or something you wished you had spent more time on. But he takes the longer view about his legacy and feels that history will judge him kindly.
There will be a hangar speech, and you'll recall 16 years ago, Bill Clinton took a long time at the hangar.
my God.
It went on for a long. I wonder if he'll respond to President Trump in the hangar.
Boy, I don't know.
We could not get off the air on that day, but I remember.
Well, listen, the president spoke, and he wasn't necessarily speaking to all of us in the room. He was speaking to the